Hello, welcome back to the Teed Up Golf Podcast. Massive episode for you all today, and I'm absolutely pumped to bring you the Creator Classic winner from East Lake just on the weekend gone by. One of the top creators in the golf game, man who's spent some time down here in Australia and across the ditch in New Zealand. Played pro golf across multiple tours, including PGA Tour China, Corn Ferry Tour, Latino America PGA Tour. Been a part of the sensation Good Golf, and now just dominating on his own channel. Luke Kwon, thanks for giving us some time on the Teed Up Pod, mate. How are you?
Absolutely, no problem. Happy I'm here.
Obviously, you were out here playing with Ron Chopper. You play with Grace Hallinan and
Yeah.
Matthias, who are
Yeah.
all friends of the pod. Know all those guys really well. So you've got a bit of a connection here to Australia, which is awesome. But off the top, you're the Creator Classic winner, which went nuts on the weekend. You had 16 of the best creators in the world in terms of golf, YouTube, and social media. And you've come out on top, big fella, with a double bogey start. How's the week been since then?
It's been a bit of a whirlwind. My Instagram notifications were going insane after the win. I mean, I was like doing the media thing right after the win,
Yeah.
just like closing it out, and I could just feel my phone just vibrating over and over again. Like, oh boy, what's going on? And then, of course, I had to do a little giveaway with Tacoma, the irons that I'm using, and it's like a thing where you can comment as many times as you want, but if you have one like on your comment, you're ineligible. So you just have, there's 22,000 comments on that post. I'm picking a comment with 0 likes on it. And so people will just kind of go down the whole list of comments and just like everyone's comments to try to disqualify them. And, it's like an offense, defense kind of thing.
That is a very, very smart way to do something. We might put that in the pipe and use that
Yeah,
down the track here on Teed Up.
it is pretty fun, but I just have never been on this side of the ridiculous amount of notifications.
No, well, mate, welcome. You deserve it. Mate, proper big boy golf course at Eastlake. Let's talk about the tournament firstly. It's a nine hole track, like Pat Perez, Roger Steele, I think Sean Walsh, Rose Bryan, like some very good players. You actually
Mm.
played them in a playoff, those last three I mentioned. But proper big boy golf course at Eastlake before the Tour Championship final. What was that like pegging it up in tournament conditions and, having all the infrastructure around and crowds there and a bit different to a YouTube video?
Yeah. The grandstands, whatever, seen them. The crowds, well, it was actually a pretty big crowd. I was pretty impressed with
Mm.
it, and it was really cool that people came out, but it's not like I haven't played in front of a crowd. That's not that unnormal for me. And the greens being firm and fast is not that unnormal for me either, but like they were, pretty slick, pretty firm. I haven't played firm and fast greens in quite a while now because I'm not really playing pro golf anymore. So it was very cool. And I just couldn't believe that we're playing it the 12 hours before the first round even kicks off.
Yeah.
I will say though, just as a little caveat, the pins weren't as in the corners as I would have liked. Obviously, they can't do that because they're playing a tournament there. Um, but really good conditions. Also, another caveat, I think the scores are maybe a little lower than people thought it was going to be. I don't know what the fairways were before the redo, but I think they're Zoysia now, and they are so nippy to chip off of. And I might even say they're pretty easy to chip off of.
Okay.
Because I know Bermuda, especially when it's into the grain, when it's tight, it's a nightmare. So I probably think that plays a part.
Yeah, it was cool to see. Like, Wes Bryan played on tour. Like, there's
Mm.
multiple guys who have played on tour. Double bogey start. Can you talk us through where the mental game was at after that? Like, you would have been like rocking up to something like this. You don't know what to expect. Obviously, it's a 9 hole
Yeah,
match. It's big content creator day. There would have been cameras
yeah.
everywhere, personalities everywhere. But to double bogey start, you would have been deflated pretty quickly.
Got to be honest, I was pretty deflated, but like I also like jokingly said to the camera, like, just wait, like it'll be a birdie, bounce back. And I mean, I was saying that kind of jokingly, but also like not jokingly, and also kind of saying it just for the sake of content because I was making a video out of it. It's like, all right, I made a double, but don't fucking leave me, guys. Um, but it was a bit rattling, but it wasn't even really that bad. Like I had a really bad lie in the rough, went nowhere, forced layup because of that, and then I was trying to hit like a bump and run onto the green, and I just
Yeah.
completely missed my spot. Just hit it way too far. It just went like middle back of the green, easy 3 putt. But I don't know. I just figured if I can get 2 birdies and get back to even par as fast as I can, I'm still kind of right there in the conversation, which I didn't expect it to be right away, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, mate. You ended up in a sudden death playoff. I think you went back to
mm,
the par five 18th against Wes
yeah.
Bryant, Sean Walsh, who you've done a lot of content with, and Roger Steele. Did you expect any of those guys to be there? Were you surprised with any of them? I didn't expect Roger to be
Roger
there.
Steele, shout out Roger Steele. That guy played some damn good golf. I mean, I didn't know what his golf game was like. I don't really know. I know he did some long drive stuff. I'm not saying he's a bad golfer by any means.
Yeah.
He's got a nice
Yeah.
swing and he bombs it. But I mean, like you said, it's a big boy golf course. You can't really fake it around there. You got to have some good touch around the greens. That guy was playing some really good golf. George struggled a little bit that day, and I'm sure he's, kind of kicking himself for that. But it's golf. It doesn't just because you can shoot 400, 500 under par, 300 par all the time doesn't mean you're going to do it all the time. It's just we're all mortals.
Mate, everyone who listens to this podcast has a vested interest in golf, and we all know how hard it is at
Yeah,
our
yeah.
amateur level, let alone the level you've played at and the level that the guys who are playing on tour play at.
Mm.
What's the fallout? So, mate, obviously you've won. What did you win? A grill? Is that right? A Gillette?
I want a grill, a
Yeah.
Gillette. I've never heard of that.
Is that what it is?
Gillette? I don't know. I don't know what a Gillette is. Is that what a grill is?
A grillet? Yeah. It said here. Yeah, it said you want a grillet. A grillet. But it's a grill. You want a grill. We'll just go with you want a grill. I'm
Yeah.
reading some random website.
Oh
You
no,
want a
I thought it was another Aussie slang that I just never heard of. But
Nah, no, we're not that creative.
yeah, it's a big old grill. Honestly, I don't even have room. I don't even have a patio. So I'm just gonna send it to my parents' house, and I am gonna be in the next. Well, I don't think I'm gonna have a character in the next PGA 2K25 game, but I'll be able to design my own course and name it, and probably have some merch in there as well.
Yeah.
So, um, honestly, I said it in the little media thing. Like, they probably wanted someone else to win, not me, because I'm gonna make this course just cooked. It is gonna be just a fucked course.
I think they'd rather you win than what Mac Boucher would throw up. He'd just have like five fairways
Oh,
wide and
the
stuff.
way that he would make courses is he would put a massive tree in the middle of the tee box, like right in front of it. So you have to sling it around.
The king of sling. One of the cool things about Mac is where I live down in the coast down here near Torquay in Geelong. He actually did some of his PGA traineeship down here at Kerr Lewis
Yeah.
Golf Club, and he's good mates with Tommy Jeffries, who's just shout out to Tommy. He's just opened a new golf indoor facility down in Ocean Grove, and yeah, Mac gave him a shout out yesterday on his social. So there you go. It's a bit of
Yeah,
a
we
local
didn't,
connection.
me and Voki only just learned about Boucher being an Aussie for so long and then being in New Zealand for so long. We
Yeah,
had no idea.
mate, he loves it over there in New Zealand.
He does.
And here as well. Like obviously he's been out a fair bit. He came and even played a tour event last year on the Aussie tour on the
Yeah, yeah,
Aussie
that's
tour
right.
schedule, which
That's
was
right.
which is cool. Mate, let's
Mm.
talk about Nick Vokey as well. So for those who follow this pod, he came tied sixth in last year's Vic Open on the PGA Tour of Australasia. Very good player. I think he's won 5 or 6 times as a professional. How did you
Yeah.
get to know Nick, and how has he ended up caddying for you at the Creator?
How I got to know Nick is a bit of a long story, but I'll shorten it down. I had some immigration problems in basically until I had 2019, I had it. But before then, I was having to go to New Zealand because my immigration status was running out. And
Yep.
so before it ran out, so I don't get in trouble, I was going to leave. But before then, I was also looking for like solutions and trying to like get a visa to stay in the US or some like, or sorry, I already had a visa, but I'm trying to get another visa. Anyways, I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go leave to go live in New Zealand. And I saw Voki on a leaderboard, and I saw that he played at Iowa State, and I was like, oh, I probably like ran a like crossed paths with this guy before. I DM'd him. I think it was Twitter first, and then I DM'd him on Instagram. And I was like, hey man, I'm gonna go, live in New Zealand for a while. Like, you got any recommendations and this and that? Like, I totally was just like expecting just nothing. And he actually DM'd me back, and then we went to go play I think the Waterloo Open in Iowa. And so we roomed together there, played another tournament right after that. I think it was like Cedar Rapids Open or something. Anyways, from there on, we kind of just, became friends, and he gave me some recommendations. I went over to go play PGA Tour China 2018, like the last three events. And Voki had gotten there, I think, a couple weeks before then on like a sponsor's invite. And he went on just the most ridiculous run I've maybe ever seen on like a lower level tour player. He won. He got in on a sponsorship invite on the fifth to last event.
Yeah.
Only played 5 events, won 3 out of the 5 events, and got third on the money list, only playing 5 events.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought this guy was like gonna be. I mean, he still is. He still is an unbelievable golfer. He's got a
Mm.
very nice move. I was telling him the entire time leading up into this event, like, why am I playing? You're on my bag. You should be playing, not me. That guy is a hell of a golfer.
Yeah. I've enjoyed watching. We've got a good connection with New Zealand on this podcast. We've had a whole range of guys on here. We've had Michael Campbell, we've had Ryan Fox,
Mm.
Denzel Iramea, who's really good mates with Voki, Vic Dens.
Yeah.
I don't know if do you know Dens?
Yeah. I know it's hell.
The GOAT, one of the greatest men
Yeah.
that you'll ever see. So it's
Yeah.
cool, and it's cool, and even the golf over in New Zealand is unbelievable. I know you spent some time there. Favorite course that you've played? It has to be Jack's Point if you're looking at visuals, but
In New Zealand, yeah, I want to say Jack's
yeah,
Point.
yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Mate, well, congrats on the Creator Cup, on the Creator Classic. It was unbelievable to watch, and I'm sure that's just going to add to your brand and what you're building in the social media game. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool to see, mate. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens
Thank you.
next year. I might try and mirror it here in Australia and get all the local Australian creators to do that and try and own the space. What do you reckon?
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Chopper would win. You've played with Ron. He hits it a long
Yeah, he
way.
actually he's a pretty solid golfer. I mean, he
Yeah,
almost beat me that one day I was out there. Well, to be fair, no, he's just a good golfer. Like,
it
and he's
is.
a
Yeah.
funny dude.
Oh.
I think I mean, he's a pretty dry humor kind of guy. I don't know. Like, he's gonna be big pretty soon. I love his stuff.
Yeah, I've played with him numerous times, and he's one of the best blokes I've met in the game for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Mate, let's talk about you and your journey into where you are now. Like, it's pretty incredible. I've watched a lot of stuff on you the last couple of days, and you're born in Seoul, Korea. What's your earliest memories of golf and sort of just being a kid?
Actually, earliest memories of golf is when I was in New Zealand. So I was born in Korea, but I left when I was 2 years old, and I went to
Yep.
go live in New Zealand from 2 to 8.
Yeah.
So a lot of my early childhood was in New Zealand. I even had a New Zealand accent and everything, and I fucking lost it. You guys probably think I'm lying on the whole New Zealand thing now.
Nah.
But I remember we had like a lemon tree and like a apple tree or something in the backyard in New Zealand, and I would like get some plastic clubs and I'd just whack them in the backyard. So that's kind of my early memories of golf, I
Golf.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I would just follow my dad out to like a driving range up in Whangarei.
So family connection. Moving to the
Mm.
States, obviously golf, the system over there is a bit different to whacking lemons in the backyard in New Zealand. How did that grab you over when you moved to the States, and what was the system like for you? You ended up at Oklahoma, University of
Mm.
Oklahoma, playing college golf. But what was that journey like for you getting into the college stuff?
Started taking seriously when I was 12 as a junior golfer, started practicing, yada yada. I wasn't really highly recruited out of high school. There wasn't really that many colleges. Oklahoma was really the big fish. They didn't really offer me that much of a scholarship, so I went down to a D2 school. Didn't play well that first semester, but the second semester was pretty lights out. And then I went back to talking to Oklahoma, and they offered me the same scholarship. And this time I said, "Yeah, I'll take it."
They held firm. Um,
Yeah.
college golf is serious business. We've had a lot of guys on who have played really high level college golf, and the one thing different to the Australian system is they just don't try and coach your swing. They just coach you to get the ball in the hole and score.
Mm.
What are the sort of key things you took from there? Because you played a really high level of pro golf once you turned pro in 2016. But what are some of the things you learnt in college golf that you still use today when you're playing events?
I mean, I think you nailed it right on the head. The guys, or my coach in college, especially, I say this sometimes in my videos, and I'm not even exaggerating. Before I got to college golf, I didn't really know how to play golf. I was just playing golf swing.
Mm.
Like, my coach would teach me just kind of like the general principles of like course management. And it's not like, fucking hit in the middle of the green, hit in the fairway. Like, no. It's like stuff like I didn't even know that green slope back to front almost every single time. And so you're better off being short than long every single time. Just little like different things, that strategies off the tee box. You're generally going to want to hit driver off the box unless there's just something just obvious that comes out to you. I mean, a lot of times now it's just like instinctual. I don't really think about it a whole lot until I like really slow it down kind of think through what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it isn't. He didn't really touch really our swings pretty much at all. I mean, he would a little bit. Short game stuff he would do a lot of work on. We would do a thing called a gauntlet, which is basically just an up and down contest, but we would do the gauntlet quite often. I had the chipping yips for like 2 years when I was at Oklahoma, so the gauntlet was a nightmare for me quite often. But yeah, that's really where I started really developing as a player and getting a game that is able to travel to different courses and around the world.
Yeah, man, that's cool, and that's what we hear from a lot of the college guys. Like they just learn how to score, and they just have those things instilled in them going into
Mm.
their professional careers. Let's have a look at 2016, mate. You turned professional. What's the process like coming out of college golf, and what was that like taking the plunge into pro golf and making it your living?
Uh, so coming out of college, if you're a big name college player, you probably will have a lot of investors or sponsors lined up to help fund your pro golf journey. I don't know how it is now with the whole NIL thing. It's probably changed a little bit, but I'm sure it's generally still the same thing. Like if you're not a really top level golfer, you're gonna have a hard time finding funding to go play pro golf. And mind you, like for people that are listening, I mean, on the lower level tour, you're probably spending around $1,500, maybe close to $2,000 a week or something.
Yeah.
On the Corn Ferry Tour, I was spending like 3 grand because I had to pay for a caddy as well. So like this is not expensive stuff, and all the travel stuff you have to pay for yourself. And I was stuck in this weird catch-22 where I needed to find investors to go play pro golf, but I couldn't go play pro golf until I found investors. And so like something had to move here, like one of the two had to been fixed. And so this is actually how I started making YouTube videos is I was trying to find investors by going door to door and like dropping off fucking like brochures of my career.
Wow.
And I was doing it the whole time. I was like, what the fuck am I like? This is not going to work. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm even doing this. Eventually, I stopped. No one called, but I was watching YouTube and I saw this guy making videos, and I was like, oh, I can just make the same kind. It wasn't even golf videos that he was making. It was completely different. I was like, I can just make the same format of videos that he's making and just put like a golf twist on it. Maybe bring some of that traffic over, make a website, bring some of that traffic over to an investment page, and that was my solution for my, wanting to play golf and this like nagging voice that I had in the back of my head saying, I'm good enough to play pro golf. I just need to figure a way out.
It's expensive, like
Mm.
and it's hard, like you mentioned that the costs associated with going to play when you're not a big
Yeah.
dog playing on the PGA
Yeah.
Tour with $100 million sponsored deals and things like that. You're probably losing if you're not making a cut. You're coming out in the
Oh,
red
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
70%
absolutely.
of the time, and mate,
And
it's a
I mean, I hate to bring this up because Voki is such a damn good player, and he had such a great year that one year, 2018, and he's still been playing well. But even he's caught in this, situation where running money is running thin, doesn't know how much longer he can do it. Like it's so incredibly tough. And I sometimes see comments on like, oh, this guy couldn't make it through the lower level tours, or this guy. It's like, you guys have no idea the level of talent that's out there that just can't make it just because it's so expensive. And eventually you just run out of money. And
yeah.
it is brutal.
We had Oliver Goss on the podcast recently, and he played the Masters 10 years ago, right? And he was
Mm.
coming out of Australia, the hottest guy coming through, played probably 5 or 6 PGA Tour events straight after playing in the Masters. And what he spoke about was just the whole reason that he stopped playing, and he was playing Corn Ferry Tour, and quite promising young guy coming through, but he just had to give it away purely. He had to use the money that he had in a jar next to his bed to pay for fuel to sell a car to drive it somewhere just to get his
Oh
plane
my
ticket
God.
home. Like, and now he's a coach in
Yeah.
Perth. Like, and
Yeah.
and he's got that level of talent. One of the up and coming,
I
amateurs in the
mean,
world.
that I would love to say that that's a crazy story, but that is pretty standard for a lot of pro golfers. I mean, I know a French guy, Cyril Boonwall. I don't know how to say his last name. He's a French guy, lives in Dallas. He won on PGA Tour China the same year I did, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. I was very happy for him. I don't know. I was like celebrating with him, and I was like, dude, what does this mean for you, like money wise? Does it, help, kind of keep it going? Like, no, this pays off the credit card debt that I've been racking up, and it just pays me back to break even. Like, it is, I mean, I've never been to that extent, but there are
Yeah.
guys that are, man, they got some conviction and balls to do what they're doing.
Just for the people out there, there's a lot of good golfers signing up the t-shirts for you on a Saturday morning when you're going out to play. So don't underestimate your PGA pros working in the shop sometimes. They're pretty incredible. Um,
Hmm.
let's talk about 2019. You actually had a win on the PGA Tour of China. Is it the Qing Huang Dao Championship?
Wow, that was some great. When I was with Voki before I played PGA Tour China, I was like, how the fuck do you remember all these names and how are you pronouncing it? I don't know how to say. Not Chinese, but like I assumed he was pronouncing it correctly.
Qing
But
Huang
you said
Dao.
it perfect. Yeah.
I did Chinese up until year nine at school. I went
Oh,
on
well, that's okay. That
I went
explains
on a
it.
trip to China, so I've got the basic pronunciations, but I think I completely balls that up, mate. But
No, I think that's
mate,
right.
mate, I'm happy with the feedback you're giving me. But mate, you're a tour winner, so you won a PGA Tour event in China. Tell us about that, and you've mentioned your struggles with immigration and whatnot. So you've had to go move to New Zealand. You've decided to play some stuff in China as well with Voki. Take it from there. That season in 29, it must have been pretty cool to have a tour win, to have be a professional tournament winner. Not many players can do it. You've done it.
Yeah,
Tell us
that
about that.
was maybe the coolest year of my life. I don't know if I can ever top it. I mean, I felt like I was taking a massive bet on myself, massive risky bet. I mean, I felt like I was like jumping from a nest and I didn't even know how to fly yet. And I just had to figure something out before I just splat on the ground and I'm just done. Like that was a very validating win, especially after hearing that voice in the back of my stupid head that just wouldn't leave saying that I was good enough to play pro golf and I need to go take this jump. And that really catapulted me up the money list. I think at that point it got me to fourth or something on the money list. And so it really put me in a solid spot. I wasn't guaranteed yet, but just along with the win, it was just a lot of confidence that brought along with it.
Hmm,
And so that season, I got fifth on the money list on PGA China, which got me status on the Corn Ferry Tour. And with that status on the Corn Ferry Tour, I could get an athlete visa back to the US.
that's cool. It all worked out for you, mate. But you also
Yeah.
spent some time on the Latino America tour as well. So you've played
Mm.
multiple tours, which is really tough to do, and the Corn Ferry Tour, which is, I think, the hardest tour to play on in all of golf because everyone
Yes.
there is so good and it's
Yes.
cutthroat and the courses are hard and it's expensive and the pressure is constant. But what's the differences, I guess, between the tours you've played on and like, yeah, how hard was those years playing on the sort of the secondary tours?
I think you nailed it right on the head. Corn Ferry Tour is arguably the second strongest tour in the world. I say arguably because DP World Tour is up there as well, but and I know this is not a fair comparison, but if you take out like I don't even know what they call it anymore. They used to be called like the Rolex Series or whatever, where a bunch of the
Still
PGA
is.
Tour guys go over
Still
Rolex
is,
Series.
yeah.
Yeah, if you take those out, which I know it's not fair, but if you take them out, Corn Ferry Tour is for sure the second strongest. So I mean, again, I see comments every once in a while. It's like, oh, Kwon, couldn't survive on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's not all that, this and that. Like, first of all, I don't really care what you think about game, but like the fact that these people think that Corn Ferry Tour is an easy tour, I have no idea. These guys, here's the thing. The guys on the Corn Ferry Tour, maybe the top 75, they could win on the PGA Tour any given week. I mean, where do you think these guys from the PGA Tour come from? They come from the Corn Ferry Tour, and then they go win on the PGA Tour. Like
Mm.
the level of play on the Corn Ferry Tour is unbelievable. So many good golfers. And you asked about the difference between Corn Ferry Tour and like Latin America or PGA Tour China. You're basically just taking the top 10, maybe even less, top 10 players of each one of those lower level tours and just kind of bringing them up to the Corn Ferry Tour. You also have a few guys that were on the PGA Tour back down on the Corn Ferry Tour. A few guys that made it through Q School. So I mean, it's all the all Americans of the colleges, the big name colleges that get in, and it's a very, very strong tour.
Yeah, mate, it's brutal. And like even like the guys at the top of the game, like you look at Scotty Scheffler, he got straight onto the PGA Tour. I don't know how if there was like a set rule, you have to go through the mini tours or the Corn Ferry tour. How many of these guys at the top would have got through it and hung in and made it through without sort of the
Yeah.
concessions they get through being a dominant
I,
amateur?
I I think yeah, Scotty made it through going up through the Corn Ferry Tour route. I think he did it in his first year, I think.
Mm,
I'm not sure. I was talking to Joel Damon while I was at the Creator Classic
yeah,
and talking about, my Corn Ferry years, his career on the PGA Tour and if he was close making in the East, like whatever. And it eventually got to a point where he was talking about how he got through Corn Ferry. I don't know how many times it took, but he was telling me that if he had to go back down to play Corn Ferry again, he just wouldn't do it. I mean, I get it. Like the tour doesn't go to the very fun spots. They go to a lot of like different middle of nowhere America, small town places. The
yeah,
courses aren't great. The competition is cutthroat. It's basically a wedge competition. It's pretty much a wedge and putting competition. Um,
yeah.
which I mean that's just how it is. That's just
Hmm.
the way it is on that tour. But yeah,
Crazy,
it's
man.
it's grueling.
Yeah, crazy. But you survived it. And I think the beauty of what you're doing now goes back to sort of what you've done in playing and
Mm.
knowing what that side of it's like and then transitioning that into your videos. Now, mate, let's talk about your YouTube stuff. So I've gone deep diving on you. 9 years ago, you posted your first video. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was the OU trick shot video.
Oh, your trick shot video. I think it's with what's the music playing over it? It was
Oh, Black Eyed Peas or something.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And the beat keeps running. That's the one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're all hitting trick shots. So that's the start of some journey, mate. That's 9 years back. Fun at
Yeah,
college.
that was at OU when it was like snow everywhere, so we couldn't even practice anyway. So we just show up to the our practice facility was called the Co. Oh, they're actually getting rid of it, so I don't know what's going to be called now. But yeah, we were just hitting like a bunch of trick shots with ping pong balls, and I wouldn't even hit any. I was just recording, and you could just hear me just cackling, laughing at every one of these shots.
It's very funny. I did watch that last night. But the fact that you left that up there is cool. But that's 9 years ago. You made that. So it's a fair journey to get to where everyone thinks these guys, you start your YouTube channels and all of a sudden you've got, a couple 100,000 viewers and, playing in Creator Classics and winning all this stuff, getting all this stuff. There's a lot of work that goes in editing your own stuff. 6 years ago, you made a video about your story, how you lost sponsors, funding, explain how you outworked everyone and then your circumstances made you leave the US to go to New Zealand. Amazingly, then sort of 5 years ago from now, you were doing that. Can you imagine if you go back to Luke Kwon 5 years ago and think to where you are now? Could you imagine what you've created?
This was well, that's the thing is that this was never in the dreams or this was not the intention. Like
Hmm.
I said at the start, like the whole point of me starting YouTube was to find investors and sponsors to help me go play pro golf. I never thought it was going to turn into where I just play on the golf course with my mates and I go have fun and make videos out of it. I mean, yeah, I'm simplifying it way too much by saying this, but I'm pretty much just dicking around on camera on the golf course. That's really all I'm doing. And I just never thought that this was gonna be. It's weird that it's come to this.
It's unbelievable what you're doing, and I think the fact that you're a very good golfer is your point of difference as well because you've been there and done it. Like there's guys who are out there doing it who have never played pro golf. They're still handy. Like the guys on good, they're still very very good
Mhm.
golfers by the average man standard. But the fact that you've been out there and done it is cool, and the quality of content that you're putting together now. I've been watching your stuff for a while, but it's just insane. You played with DeChambeau, you played with Abe Answer, Sergio. You've done some pretty cool shit. Like,
Mm.
how do you get to deal with those guys and how do you get them on course with you? Like, can you just take the listeners of this podcast through the process of how you get in touch with these big names and how you can get them to come onto your channel?
Well, Bryce and I have a mutual friend that he's my editor, and he got me in contact with Bryson, which I don't know. We've played together, I think, in a college event in Vegas. So I remember playing with him. Didn't talk to him a whole lot. We are kind of like similar years, so kind of been around each other. So I think that helps that I guess I'm like one of their peers. I mean, I am a pro golfer, so I guess I'm kind of like one of their peers.
Yeah.
Abraham Answer, I played with him in college as well. So known them forever. Been wanting to get him on a video for a long time now. Sergio was just, I mean, he's on the same team as Abe,
Yeah.
so it was a pretty
Yeah.
easy
Fireballs.
ask for him. But very cool. I mean, Sergio was a bro. I didn't expect that out of him.
Yeah.
And then Grant Horvat, obviously we were both in good, so
Yeah.
pretty easy that one as well. So
No, mate, that's unreal. Like I think the fact that you're in the States as well and have access to these guys is cool. Like us the
mm,
guys here in Australia, we look at what you do and like, oh, that's so cool, like playing with Bryson. Being at Live in Adelaide, I actually have met all three of those guys just fleetingly for a little spot interview. All lovely, lovely fellas. Like Bryson, I was so nervous talking to him. I asked him one question, and he goes, "You
yeah.
can ask as many as you like." And I said, "That's all I got." And he laughed and walked off. And then, like Sergio was the same. He was just so good with his time. And Abe, we just talked about the ranch that he's bought back home, which is
Mm.
even cooler. So, like, they're all lovely, lovely guys, and they're more than happy to do this. And what Bryson's doing for the game right now is absolutely insane. What was he like a couple of years ago when you did the video with him? Then,
Yeah, no, it's really cool what Bryson's doing. He's got a great team around him, putting out great videos, genuinely. I remember when he was first starting out though, like, oh, I don't know what year that was. I think it was like during COVID, like 2020. He started making a couple of videos. Man, they were rough. They were not very good. I
yeah,
didn't really know what he was doing, but he's kind of gathered around him, good solid team. I think he's one of the guys that really understands just the reach of, I guess, the internet in general, but YouTube golf. It's YouTube golf is becoming a thing that's, man, I feel like the numbers are rivaling the numbers on TV. And
yeah,
a lot of it, I think, in my opinion, comes from the ability for the audience to connect with the player that's on TV instead of, obviously, it's different on the PGA Tour where they're playing for like performance, like they're trying to shoot the lowest score possible. But it's not, I mean, yeah, it's entertainment, but it's not your typical kind of entertainment where you're trying to make people laugh or have a fun time, whatever. Like it's like more of a traditional sport
hmm,
entertainment. So to be able to kind of build that rapport with your audience, I mean, it's big for your own personal brand, and so it's big for Bryson's brand as well.
no, it's super cool what everyone's doing, and especially to have like a guy who's won a major take people
Mm,
inside what he's doing week to week, day to day. Like, yeah, it's so cool, and I love watching his stuff. It's for the layman out there who is getting into golf and wants to learn some stuff about how to hit certain shots. He's the guy to watch because he knows what
yeah,
he's
yeah.
doing. Middle of last year, mate. Good. So good got me through COVID. It's when I first started falling in love with YouTube golf.
Mhm.
They've got about 1.7 million followers now. Like, you know, Bobby and all those guys are household names. And if you're a golf lover down here in Geelong in Australia, you go to a driving range, I always see someone wearing a good hat. Like they're
Mm.
big time. They've made it. And their quality is fantastic what they put out. How did you end up with those guys? And that sort of has, helped your brand in terms of just getting you out there a bit more now. But I know
Yeah.
how hard you work on your own stuff and you already had your own stuff there before that. But how's that sort of helped you and what was it like working with those guys?
It's funny because I knew Garrett before he even started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I had a YouTube channel. I was trying to get it going for the investor side of things, and I don't know, gain some traction, traffic. And then I went to go move to New Zealand, and I think by that time, I think I had like 10,000 subscribers or something like that. Garrett DM'd me and said he wants to collab with me, and I think at that time he had like 5,000 subscribers. So like I had more subscribers than Garrett did at that time, which is wild to even think about. But so I've just kind of known Garrett because of that. The timing wise, honestly, couldn't have worked out better because I had just finished my second season on Latin America tour. Wasn't playing great, wasn't making money. I still love the travel, but like it's one thing when you're traveling and you're making money. It's pretty cool. But like when you're traveling from place to place and you're losing money from place to place, it's like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? I'm just might as well just burn this money. Um, and so like, I've had this YouTube thing in my back pocket this whole time. I haven't really gone seriously with it. I think this was 2022. What if I just put all of my attention on YouTube and let's just see where that goes? Just put pro golf on a pause. I don't know if I can say pause. I mean, it's basically just stop it for now. Um, and so that's what I did. And I was like, I'm just gonna film with anyone. I don't care about the politics of who likes who, doesn't like who. Like I don't care. I'm just making videos.
Yeah.
It's not even that serious anyways. And so I made a couple of videos with Bryson had a group called Regicy. Made a couple of videos with them, and then that stopped. But then right after that was a good week, and Garrett you know invited me to go on the Paynes Valley week 2022. And so that's kind of how it started.
What's it like in from a production standpoint? So obviously we all see the finished product of what you guys do. Good have a massive team. You know, they've got cameras everywhere. Like if you've ever seen any of this on-course stuff getting filmed, it's like a
Mm.
Hollywood movie's being shot. But what's it like, I guess, with those guys and the production level they're at now? Like they're probably the gold standard in terms of the team and with Colin and the guys I think run that. Is that right? The guy name's Colin?
Yeah, Colin and Max are the two main video editors. Honestly, I think I spent most of my time when I was at Good Good. I spent most of my time around Colin and Max because they were just massive camera video editing nerds, and
Mm.
I have also become a nerd into this stuff, which is weird to say because I before I started YouTube, I thought camera or like the whole photo, especially photos. I thought photos were stupid. I was like, what? Why is anyone doing all this stuff? And then now here I am going down a rabbit hole of cameras and videography and photography and everything. So, like I talk to them a lot about just different questions and how they do with all their editing. And I even, Max has went to a film school and I just learned all this stuff off of YouTube. And I'm even still able to like communicate with him and like all these different like technicalities of videos
Real.
and cameras and video editing. Anyways, yeah, they do a great job. They were actually the first ones to come up with, well, I don't know what come up with, but they make their own shot tracers on every video and they do it with like this kind of complicated process on this program called After Effects. I think that's one of the things that really helped, was a game changer for their videos and getting, it's just so much easier to watch a golf video when you can see the ball flight going. And then when the ball lands, you can see like where it's heading towards. So it gets your eyes towards that direction. I think that's a big help. Their editing, they're, they're able to edit. Oh my God, it's so much footage that they shoot. It's
Mm.
maybe I want to say like 700 gigabytes a day of footage that they're shooting, and they're able to just edit it down to a video over and over and again. It seems like chaos, but I mean, you're right. It's quite a production, it's quite a process, and
Mm.
genuinely they do a great job with it.
Yeah, no, you all do, but yeah, they've just been doing it for so long, and the standard, I guess, that they're throwing out there is sort of upped everyone else's game, which is cool. That everyone
Mhm.
needs sort of someone to chase, which is cool. You left good. You did a dramatic video, which I find super funny and cool to watch on on YouTube. I just sit there and laugh. I'm like, boys, it's golf. You're playing videos, but what you said in that was, I'll just dumb it down for everyone, so you don't have to talk about it. Is you left to pursue your own stuff. You like doing your
Yeah.
own thing, traveling with your own team, doing what you're doing. And traveling the world and playing some of the best courses, which you've most recently done. So let's chat about what you've done in the last few months. You've been over and played the Olympic golf course at Le Golf National. You've played, I think you
Mhm.
played Valderrama. Is that right? Did you play
Mhm.
Valderrama?
Yep.
Been out here. You've played all the courses here. Belfry. They just played the British Masters there last week.
Mhm.
What's that been like the last few months playing these courses? And with Peter Finch, who's one of my favorite guys on the internet.
Yeah.
I think he's very funny, very, very funny man. I,
I love Finchy.
he hates himself, I think. Does he hate
Yeah.
himself?
I feel like maybe that's why we get along because we're so self-deprecating.
Yeah.
We're just trying to see who's more self-deprecating on the course.
Yeah.
No, that Europe trip was very cool. I had a couple different moments where I'm like standing on the golf course, Old Head in Ireland. I think I was on hole 12 on that par five. I had an Instagram post on there. I'm just standing there on the fairway. I'm looking out. There's cliffs on the side of this fairway. This green is just like nested in this like little cocoon, and if you hit it left, you're in the ocean. If you hit it right, you're in the tall bunda. And it's just like, how how has this become my job? I almost felt like undeserving for this, but like it's just I had so much like a feeling of gratitude that came over me and just like disbelief that like I'm making videos of me playing golf at these unbelievable locations, and for some reason, people want to watch this idiot hit a golf ball around a course. And I just feel like I've lucked into the position that I'm in, and I'm just very grateful. I've had a couple of those moments on that trip.
Yeah, mate, insane. Like Glen Eagles, you've played, Ryder Cup courses, you've done everything. Like it's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but the fact that you're giving us another look at it rather than the tour setup,
Mhm.
commentary over the top, just actually a dude who we can all relate to by way of just being similar age to most
Mhm.
guys who get into golf are your age now. We all finish. we start having families and we want to escape and it's play golf.
All right.
So the look that you give us is unbelievable. You've played with some of like YouTube golf's biggest names. So I've already mentioned a couple, but like Mac Boucher, the Pause King, Ron Chopper. What's it like collaborating with other creators? And like, is that part of the fun?
Yeah, it's definitely part of the fun. Getting different personalities on video. I've always thought that YouTube golf is one of those things where it's like it's not. I mean, sure, you can make a competition out of it. Like, sure, you make more. This person gets more views than this person. Like, okay, so what? Like, the thing is, it's a situation where it's like a rising tide lifts all boats. And
Yeah.
so the more we collab with each other, the more we gain or we grow this audience of just general golf audience on YouTube. It helps all of us. And so I don't really get that competitive with,
It's
you
good.
know, the amount of views that someone else has and I get. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like the Creator Classic was also a good example of that because yeah, we're trying to put up a good number just for our own self and I guess, our own egos, but it's also kind of weird. Like we're all like collectively kind of representing creators on YouTube as well. And so it's like we want to, I don't even know who we're trying to prove this to, but like just prove to people that like we're not as a group terrible golfers either. Like we're pretty solid golfers. And so it's kind of built like this kind of community around YouTube golfers.
Yeah, mate, it's super cool. Obviously, Rick Shields is the godfather of your YouTube golf. And have you ever collab with Rick? And is there any plans to do that?
I haven't personally, but when I was with Good Good, I have, but I haven't done it with my own channel.
Cool.
I mean, if he's down, I'm down.
Shout out. Big. He's a
I,
big fan of the podcast, so
yeah,
we'll make sure this gets to him.
yeah. I mean, I love collabing. Like that's
Yeah,
a lot of fun, but I think just naturally, I also just love playing with my mates down in New Zealand and just whoever really. I mean, I played
yeah.
with my former college teammate, Bo Titsworth. He came up in the Switzerland trip. Yeah, his last name is actually Titsworth, so I just call him Tits all the time. Um, but like just I don't know. I guess I don't really try to make this happen, but I hope that my videos kind of remind you of you and your mates that you play
Yeah.
on with on the golf course, just dicking around, having fun, just bringing back like the fun of the game kind of thing.
Yeah. I think the most engaging ones and the best fun ones to watch are you with the Kiwi boys with Tooms and Taco.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah,
funny. Like
yeah.
to have guys like that out on course. How did you meet those guys? How did that all come about with those boys?
Or Ty, his name is Ty Ko, but his YouTube channel is Taco Golf. Voki told me to meet up with Ty when I was first heading down there.
Yeah.
Toombs, I met because I was playing like a bunch of New Zealand PGA Pro-Ams.
Oh, cool.
Same with Sam. He was also playing those things. Met a bunch of the Kiwi pro golfers down there playing those New Zealand Pro-Ams.
Mate, I've had a few listener questions come in, and I hope
Mm,
these are all right. But so,
perfect.
pro golf, would you ever try to get out on tour again?
It depends on what tour. You get me on Live Tour, I'm signing the dotted line right now. Right now. If you got me on Corn Ferry Tour, I would just completely ignore it. Just not doing it. I do actually, well, I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite. Asian Tour is, I think, I don't even know if I'm even allowed to say this, but screw it. Whoever's listening gets the inside peek. Me and Ty might get an invite into an Asian Tour event in Thailand,
Nice. That'd be
just
good.
before our Thailand trip in October. So down for that.
Watch that. Watch this space. We love watching the Asian tour on here. Who's the best player you've played with on your channel? Take out your major champions, obviously, and then Abe.
Okay. Because I was gonna say Sergio.
Yeah.
I want to say, as of right now, probably Grant Horvat.
Yeah.
Not when I played with him on my channel. That video that I filmed with him, that was a few years ago. I mean, he still played some good golf. I'm not saying he played bad golf, but I played with
Mm.
him recently in the YouTube Championship in Pinehurst, and him and George Bryan, their games are looking very sharp, and I was impressed with both of them. They're both playing some good golf.
Yeah. Do you think Grant will ever turn pro and have a crack?
He keeps saying that he doesn't care for the competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he
I
wants to
think
do.
he's probably earning a good living doing what he's doing and
Yeah, exactly.
living his
I
own
think
life.
yeah, ignorance is bliss. Well, I don't even know if that term even works at that point, but he should just keep doing what he's doing.
Oh, mate, I'd rather live a happy life than a stressful one. And I don't
Yeah,
know a pro
yeah.
golfer who isn't
There,
stressed.
there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing instead of
Yeah.
playing pro golf.
Yeah. Mate, back to the golf content space. This is from Dill Buckley, who's one of the doyens of social media here in Australia. Saturated space now. I reckon he's asking this for his own More Greens page. How do you differentiate and keep at the top of the game?
I do agree it is saturated. Um, and that is the right question to ask because you want to kind of differentiate yourself and gain an edge, I guess, on other people and you're pretty much trying to give an audience a reason to watch you instead of someone else. I want to bring up Sam just because he is almost doing it on accident, where everyone's videos are very polished, very professional. It looks great. But then you got Sam over here just being an idiot, like a genuine, well, maybe not genuine, but he's just being an idiot on camera. His videos are not that polished, and it's almost like, and just generally these Kiwi guys as well, like we're like cheating tips Thursdays or whatever. Like we just blatantly cheat on the videos, and we don't even try to hide it. Like we just say it out loud, and it's like we're almost just taking the piss out of everyone on the YouTube golf space. It's like, nah, we're not even taking it really all that serious. We're just having fun. And, maybe that's not our draw, but it's like that kind of differentiates what you are seeing generally right now. And I don't know. I don't know if I have a quite of a complete answer on this because it is saturated and it is hard to kind of differentiate yourself on the space, but it is something that I'm also thinking about and whoever is starting out should also be thinking about as well.
Yeah, it's cool. The most authentic content creators are the ones who I think draw most people in.
I agree.
Your posting schedule. So there's a method to the madness. Obviously, you go off over to the UK, come out here to Australia, shoot a bunch of footage, play a bunch of courses, go home, edit it, and post it. What do you have like a hit zone? Do you have times when you post? Just out of interest, like I'm in the content game too, but very interesting how you plan all that stuff.
Yeah, so I generally don't upload on the weekends. Saturday, Sunday, I just don't really like. Even Friday, I don't really like it either, but if I have to, I will. And I generally try to post like around 2 p.m. Central. Timing, I was gonna say it doesn't really matter that much, but it does kind of matter. You don't want to be posting like around 7 p.m. Central or whatever. Like there's a lot of analytics that you'll see on the back end of your social media that you use, whatever you mostly use. And it'll tell you like where like your viewers are mostly active. And so you generally want to just try to post at that time.
Yeah,
Weekends, I don't know exactly the reason why it's not good, but it's just not very good time to post. I'm sure people are just out doing their own thing
doing
and
stuff.
whatever.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I've only recently found out that a lot of people watch my videos while they're at work. So I'm not really sure.
guilty.
I'm not really sure how you do it, but
Yeah, I'll tell you after. My boss listens to this, so we can't. It's productive. It's good for my mental health. That's
yeah.
one way you got to play it. No, we've had a lot of DMs in here. I did put up a post really about an hour before you came on, just to see if we get some questions in. We've had a lot. Had about 60 people write a question for you, but I'm only
I
going to
love
read
it.
my top three out. So Jimmy Bunkers, he's a good friend of the pod. He wrote, can you come back to Australia in October, November? It's much better golf weather than in April. So he wants you back out here.
I don't know. I feel like that's a little early, no? Is that not like spring
Perfect
time?
time. Beautiful.
Is it?
Beautiful. Yeah. It's when they have all the Aussie tour events here. They've got, like, I know you've played
Oh, that's
Kingston
right.
Heath in Victoria and all that stuff. So if you are going to come back out, that's a great time to come. Barnbougle as well. It's not as windy. It's probably when you would go. Did
Yeah,
you get good weather?
yeah. Well, because I think October we're trying to do a Thailand trip, and then November we're trying to do a South Africa trip. It's not set in stone yet, but that's what we're at least trying to do. I thought November would be too early, so maybe we should do Aussies then. I
It's
don't know.
beautiful, mate. You've only played half the sandbelt from what I've seen. So there's still a lot more golf to play.
Do you know what was a sneaky one? And Ryan Ruffles told me that what was it? What is it? Yara Yara.
Yara
He
Yara,
said
yeah.
Yara Yara was not that good. That was one of my fucking
It's a,
favorites, that trip,
it's a,
and it wasn't even on
it's a,
my channel.
it's a cracker. It's a great golf
Yeah,
course.
it's
Rough,
great.
gruff, to fairness to Ruff, he grew up as a member of Victoria, which is my personal favorite golf course in the world that I've
Mm,
played.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty tough. It's tough to pick a favorite down here.
It is very hard. PK was my favorite.
Yeah, that's we're lucky. My co-host Brad McGill is a member there. He did ask the question to you, the question that Brad just sent in. What was your favorite course when you played down here in Australia? And you just answered it, PK.
Yeah,
Did you
PK.
play the North or the South course?
Oh, I can't remember. First hole was a straight par four. Last hole was like a dogleg left par four.
Yeah, North course. It's the
North
harder
course.
rated course. Yeah, beautiful course, beautiful golf course. Um, yeah, you've got a lot of fans, mate. People just saying love his stuff, love his stuff, which is good. Which is I'll never get these messages on my page. Then I'm like, fuck you, Q.
I don't even know.
Um,
I don't understand why they love my stuff. I don't know. Don't
I
get it.
do. I know why, mate, and I'll explain to you later. Would you? So here's one from Will Koshel, who's a great friend of the pod as well. He wrote, "Would you play on the Australian tour for some events if invited?"
Probably not.
No, why not?
I feel like I'm letting down Aussie fans by saying that. It's just I don't know. It's 4 days. Well, hopefully 4 days of going back to the pro golf grind, and obviously there's practice rounds involved in it and everything. It's
Hmm.
just I don't know. I feel like I've kind of scratched that itch of pro golf.
Yeah, you're done.
Um,
You're
and I
done.
don't, yeah, I don't really feel like I need to scratch that itch again unless it just makes it worth it for me to do it again. But
Yeah. No, fair enough, mate. I agree with you. It's too hard. It's too hard. And if you're doing this and you're enjoying what you're doing, why would you swap?
I mean, if I have two options where I have tournament golf where everything's very serious and missing one putt could cost you $5,000 or $10,000, and you have another option where you can just mess around your buddies and it doesn't matter how you play and you're having fun,
Yeah, yeah.
just pretty easy.
No, I agree with you, mate. Let's just cap off with your trip to Australia that you recently came on. National, Bunboogle, Peninsula Kingswood, Victoria, Kingston Heath, Commonwealth, Ron Chopper, Matthias, Grace, Toombs, Taco. You came out here in April. Like the weather was pretty good in April, to be fair, for
Yeah, it
that
was pretty
question that
good.
came. Um, what was your like? You've just mentioned PK, but you flew over to Barnbougle. Like we're very lucky here in Victoria, or where I live, with the quality of courses we've had. You've played all across the world. How does it compare?
I kept on saying on the videos, the bunkering that you guys have in the Sandbelt area, I wish that was the standard in all of golf, everywhere. I don't care if you fucking can't do it because your soul conditions. Fucking try. Like it's so fun and it looks so good. It like the really sharp edges off of the
Yeah,
greens. It just goes. It doesn't even go like green to fringe to bunker. It just goes green to fucking bunker. Like
it's
it's
brutal.
awesome. I love that. I will say the views maybe is kind of lacking in the Sandbelt area. There's no like cool mountains in the background and this and that, just because I'm spoiled with the whole Jacks Point and Queenstown and New Zealand in general.
Yeah,
But the level of the quality of golf in the Sandbelt area is as a collective in such a small area in the world. I don't think there's another place in the world that has that many high quality golf courses in such a small area.
I couldn't agree more. And the ones I just listed, that's only scratching the surface. Obviously, there's Royal Melbourne, which is,
Mm,
the composites. Probably it's Tiger Woods' favorite golf course.
mm.
So it's like, you've got to come back, mate, and have a good go at that. So we always finish off with quick fire questions. So there's 5 questions, that are all related to your golfing life. And the first one we always ask is, what is your dream four ball?
Dream four ball, probably Elon Musk, Tiger Woods, Mark Cuban. Uh, Two of them, I don't even know if they even play golf. I do know that Mark Cuban hates golf. I don't even really have to be playing golf with these guys. I could just sit down and just talk to them.
Just
That's all I
watch.
really care
Just
about.
just go out
Yeah.
for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, mate, you've mentioned some of the courses you've played. Which one, if you could only play one course for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
I'll probably have to say Old Head in Ireland.
It wasn't on my bucket list. It's just gone on. So I've got to get to Old Head. Dream YouTube video. So course conditions and playing partners.
Playing at Augusta National with Tiger Woods, I think the YouTube would actually break. The internet would actually break.
That would be unbelievable. I can't wait. You've
Yeah.
manifested it now. It's going to happen.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh, imagine if they let you film there. That would just be unbelievable. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe that you're allowed to film at some of the courses you're allowed to film at, which is,
Honestly, especially the courses in Australia, I was pretty surprised by.
yeah. Look, they're becoming more and more open to what the
Mm,
world is now, and which is awesome here in
mm,
Australia. And a little bit slow in that space, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
mm.
Um, item that goes in your golf bag. We all play golf. We're all nuffies. What's something that goes into your bag every single time you go to play? Is it memento or ball marker, something like that?
I don't know, like maybe a sleeve of balls. I don't really.
Not sentimental.
Yeah, no, especially with the YouTube stuff. Like, I don't need any good luck. Just go play.
Now, you've played here in Australia. You've been to a lot of courses here. You threw 9 holes. You've had a couple of beers with the boys the night before, so you're a little bit hungover. Are you going for a sandwich, an Australian sandwich, or an Australian pie with sauce at the halfway
Oh,
house?
pie for sure. I can get a sandwich wherever. I can't get a pie here in the US.
Yeah, mate, that's always the answer for the guys from overseas. Anyone from Australia says we're getting a sandwich. Mate, you've been so generous with your time. Loved having you on. What's some advice you've got for an up and coming young guy, young person, young girl listening to the show, watching the show, who's trying to get into the game of YouTube, not even just for golf, but just in general, or what's some advice you'd give them just for starting out?
I think, like you said earlier, I think authenticity is key. Sure, there's strategies that you can do with social media and like the best practices and this and that, but like at the end of the day, if you are authentic, which means the good and the bad, just show it all. Like even if it's, when I was starting out YouTube and my struggles of immigration and my whole story of why I was doing YouTube, I feel like that was a very authentic, it was a very real situation that I was in at the time. And I think just in general, I've always just kind of been very transparent. Bad shots, leave it in. Shanks, leave it in. Like fuck ups when I'm stumbling over my words, leave it in. Like this stuff happens to everyone. I don't even really know exactly why people are drawn to me, but I think if I were to take a guess, it's just I don't really try to hide anything. I'm just a normal guy. I feel like a normal guy, and I think people can sense that kind of thing.
Absolutely, mate. That's why I enjoy watching your stuff. You just seem like a nice fella, which is great. There's nothing fake about it, which is even and the
Yeah.
best part. So, you've just mentioned you've got your Thai trip and your Asian trip to South Africa, but what's sort of the grand plans for the channel? Do you have anything cool that you're sort of stoving away at? Don't give away the trade secrets, obviously, but is there anything cool that you
Uh,
want to share?
I'm actually, so we're recent or near future, we're working on a LA or San Diego trip, kind of in between. We're trying to do that late September-ish, and I'm bringing up the guys from New Zealand to come up for that trip.
Nice.
And then starting December 1st, I think I will be based in New Zealand for about 4 months. So just kind of get the summer months in New Zealand. Got an Airbnb and everything lined up.
Fantastic.
I just feel like I hear the people. I hear the people. I'm giving the people what they want. And even for me, I also just genuinely enjoy playing with Taco, Toombs, and Sam and all those Kiwi guys.
Yep.
And we're just gonna film a bunch of videos with those guys.
Nice, mate. That's so cool. Can't wait to watch. It's been, like I said, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on the pod. I've been talking to you for a little while to make this happen. And thanks to Matty Howe and the boys and everyone you played with for sort of putting this together. And yeah, mate, it's been a privilege and an honor for me to have you on. So thanks so much for your
Yeah,
time.
I appreciate you having me. I'm glad we got to finally make this work because we've been trying for a while.
Yeah, no, that's my bad, man. Dad life.
No, it's all
Dad,
good.
dad's
It's all
life
good.
dad's life kicked me in the balls. But no, you're a superstar. And if you are in Australia, let us know. We'll get in studio and have a chat again.
Sounds good.